Hi, I'm Larry Johnson. I'm a professor at Texas A&M University, and today we're going to talk about the lymphoidal system.
Lymphoidal system. We want to start by looking at examples of the immune response, how to combat infection, some features and types of immunity, as well as bone marrow being the source of the immune cells.
Now, what are some examples of the immune response that maybe you have encountered? Reactions against bacteria, microorganisms, bacteria, viruses. You probably had the flu before. Hopefully you hadn't had any parasites, but certainly you've had like pimples or something, some kind of infection, ant bite, or something that has caused an immune response. Other things are tumor cells, reaction to tumor cells. We don't have cancer because our immune system has prevented that. Maybe you have allergies, hay fever, poison ivy. All those are immune responses. And autoimmune disease such as arthritis or type 1 diabetes. You might know someone with diabetes. And graft rejection. All of these are the immune responses that we may have encountered or know about in the body. Now, the objectives of this presentation is to look at the cellular basis of immunity, look at the effectors of the response, the induction of the response, and ontogeny. Where did it come from in this developmental path? Now, the functions of the immune system is to protect against foreign invaders of the body, and there's many invaders: viruses, parasites, bacteria, lots of things that are trying to invade the body, and to produce and protect the germ-free environment of the body. So protect against pathogens, invaders, and also to protect the germ-free environment. So there's basically 3 steps in combating infection. One step is to break the transmission, the cycle of transmission. You prevent it from getting into the body. A second way is to kill the infective agents, and third is to increase the host immunity, to increase the immunity of the host. So the first lines of defense of our body is our skin. Skin, the stratum corneum, prevents things from coming through, and the bacteria that's on the surface of the skin doesn't get inside because of our skin. Also, of things that we eat. The hydrochloric acid in the stomach and the mucus in the intestines prevent invasion of things that we eat into the body's milieu inside the epithelium. So that is, we break in the transmission cycle. Also, we kill the infective agents. That's why we have the pathogens at work: neutrophils, macrophages from monocytes throughout the body. Here we can see in the liver, in the skin, in the brain, lymph nodes, in the bone, spleen, various places, synovial fluid. We have these killer cells that kill the bacteria or invading components. Here we see some neutrophils in blood, monocyte gives rise to the macrophage, lymphocyte that we see. So increase the host resistance, characteristics of immunity. First component is it's acquired. It requires exposure to antigens before it can mount a response. Also, it's specific. It's specific to the unique antigens that you're exposed to. That's why if you're getting, you may get sick from water that's in a different location, different country, and other people who come to the United States from other countries may get sick too on our water because they're not exposed to the same invading components as we are. Also, it has memory. It remembers a previous exposure. So it's acquired, it must be developed. So the antigen that we're exposed to, we make antibodies against those specific antigens and not other antigens. Also, the specificity is specific about those specific ones and not other ones, and it has to be acquired. That is, it has to be exposed to that so the immune system can know what to mount a response to. Also, it has memory. It has a quick response. The first response is small and not so quick. But the second time you're injected with the same antigen, it has a quick response, as indicated here in the serum concentration of antibodies. And the main player here is the lymphocyte, the T lymphocyte, which kills things, or the B lymphocytes, which makes plasma cells that make antibodies. And that brings us to the two types of responses. One is antibody. That is, glycoproteins produced by cells. These antibodies are actually the invading, the killer component. There's also a cell-mediated. So this is a product, or this is the cells themselves that actually bind to the tissue and kill those. And those are T cells as opposed to B cells. Now this occurs in the bone marrow, and you can see colonies of cells developing. This is a group of cells here, and some of which have granules, as we see. There's a blood vessel with white blood cells coming through blood. There's a megakaryocyte that produces platelets, and there's a piece of bone. So this is in bone marrow, and here's a smear of the bone marrow cells. And so we can see this cell here, a spherical nucleus, dark blue cytoplasm. This is like a pro-normoblast that's going to make a red blood cell. And then if you go further, you can see where the nucleus pops out, and then you have no nucleus and the mature red blood cells.
We want to thank the original authors of many of these images and pictures, and we have identified the books from which pictures have been taken. We want to thank the original sources. I didn't do these, they did, and we want to thank them. That's the end of the lymphoidal tissue, examples of the immune response, combating infection, features and types of immunity, and the bone marrow being the source of the immune cells.